Good morning. Reference video on a Efuel setup. OBS. Yeah. Very early in the morning. Got my work sweater on. Can't believe it's 45 in Florida, but it is. So let's get this started. I'm going to take you through of this setup I done and where I placed like my relays and my filter housing and just basic stuff like that to give you a general idea of the setup, what it looks like, and some of my thoughts on it. Before we get to the video, I would like to thank Crude Diesel Performance for sponsoring this video. There's a link below if you want to check out the auction on eBay that lists this great setup. There's not one bad thing I can say about it. If I could say one word, and it would be awesomeness. Totally different truck. Night and day. Okay, so here I am towards the back of the truck where I placed my filtration block with my filters and everything. And the reason I went towards the back of the truck is to be out of the way from if I have to work on a transmission, anything underneath there. It's away. There's nothing in this area. This is a great place to place it. Also, the frame of the truck comes up a little bit, so you have a little bit more ground clearance. I only had to drill one hole. So yeah, very good place to mount it, but of course you can mount it anywhere you want. You get enough hose and enough electrical wire to put it wherever you want. So I'll show you how I mounted it, where I mounted it, and we'll go from there. Alright, so here it is, mounted to the outside of the frame. Shut-off valves, you get two of them for the in and out. That is a Bosch premium pump that they use in a 99 to 2003 Power Strokes. Very reliable. There it is. Alright, water separator, easy access. And also the reason I put it on the outside of the frame, because of course you can go on the inside, it's just easier access. I can actually sit down on the ground, unscrew this filter, it's right here, but again, you can place it wherever you want it. But that's it. Yep. Alright. Here it is. This is the inside of the frame. The reason you see these T's here is because I'm drawing off of two tanks at once, because I had a problem with my this block, the selector valve. But anyway, that's a whole totally different video. But yeah, I bypassed the whole selector valve because I had issues with it, and they run about $350. So I basically tied in both tanks together, and it draws at the same time. But anyway, like I said, that's a whole totally different story. All right, here's a side view. As you can see, very, very thick plates, filter housing. The plate that goes on the frame. I'm shaking the shit out of this, and it's not moving. It's not going to shake on you. It's not going to rattle loose. I mean, this is some heavy-duty steel. It ain't going nowhere. All right, moving on. That is my wiring harness. There. The other wiring harness goes to my air compressor for my air ride. All right. Oil sensor pressure switch. That goes to the harness. Plugs into your oil housing. Very easy to do. And also, everything's going to be pre-wired. You're not going to have to be splicing stuff, putting stuff together, none of that. It's just pretty much prepping everything and getting it ready. So yeah, everything's going to be already pre-wired, ready to go. I would definitely give yourself 2 full days. If you're going to do it on a weekend, I would definitely start Friday night, getting everything prepped, probably removing your fuel bowl. I have a video on that if you need to know how to remove it. It's very easy. Takes roughly about 10 to 20 minutes. But definitely 2 full days, because you're going to run into, I ran into some green wires on some of the harnesses I had to redo. That was on my truck. You're gonna run into a few hiccups. If you can get somebody to help you, that's even better. But definitely took me 2 full days doing it alone. Okay, moving on now. Okay, this is your relay bracket that you're going to get. Again, pre-wired. Everything is going to be ready to go. This is the best place I found to mount it, because it was out of the way, didn't have to drill any holes. This bracket's already going to be on there. All the relays are going to be on this whole bracket. You just need to mount it somewhere. But right here above my PCM, I thought it was a very good area, you know, keep all the electronics together. So worked out very well. All right. Here's a little side view of the relay bracket, where it's located. It's out of the way. You know, it's sheltered from the weather. It's actually a damn good place. All right. But again, you can mount it wherever you want, wherever you feel comfortable, if you have a better place. All right. Moving on here to the regulator. This is a billet aluminum body regulator. It's fully adjustable. It flows up to 200 gallons per minute. And you also will receive a Marshall fuel gauge, which this regulator would be turned around and you could screw in the gauge right here where I have my fuel pressure sensor. Now this setup does not come with this fuel pressure sensor. This is mine from my glow shift gauges that I have in a truck. The reason I done it this way is because I just want to keep an eye on it inside the truck. But you know, if you don't need to keep an eye on it, you actually would have this regulator turned around and you would have your Marshall gauge right here. It's a liquid filled gauge. It's a very high quality. I'm running it in my other OBS. The video's posted and you could see what it looks like. All right, so that's that. We're moving on. All right, down there, as you can see, I have my banjo fitting adapter, my hose. I double clamped it. And you will receive a plug that plugs into your engine block that covers up the hole where your mechanical pump was. Now, the nice thing about it is you don't have to build a bridge across there. I've seen a lot of people build a little bridge across there and zip tie the banjo adapter to it so it doesn't bounce around. Like I said, the nice thing about the plug, it is actually raised up. It's not a freeze plug. It's a rubber plug. It's a lot easier if you need to remove it and to install it. But it actually rises up about 1 inch off the block, and the banjo fitting sits on top of it. So there is actual down pressure force on top of that fitting. So you don't have to secure this in any way. It's not going to bounce on you. It's very secure. It doesn't move around. You're not going to put any stress on the hard lines. Like I said, it's a whole totally different setup because people are using freeze plugs. This is a whole totally different plug. So that's the nice thing about it. You don't have to come up with any kind of gadgets to secure that banjo fitting. It's in place. It's not going nowhere. But there it is. Basically, that's it. And the nice thing about it, you can work on your truck now. You can get your hand in there, work on stuff. Like I said, the performance, the idling of the truck, it's a whole totally different OBS than what I've known. It's great. It's great. Also, if you don't want to go with this setup, you can go with a mechanical setup. If you want to check out the video, I have one posted on my OBS. It's a mechanical setup delete. They're both great. But, I mean, if I had the choice, definitely the E setup is the way to go. It's reliable. I mean, the idling is night and day. As you could see in the video, my gauge on my mechanical setup delete, you know, the gauge is always bouncing. This is a constant flow with the E setup. Good job, Crew Diesel. Very happy with the setup. You want to check out the goods. Check out the link below. Go to his page. If you have any questions, great guy to work with. And the great thing about it is, I always mention this in the video, this is not a guy that thinks diesel parts are cool. He's an actual diesel mechanic. He's going to answer your questions. He has the knowledge about this stuff. So yeah, check it out. If you have any questions, comments, leave them down below. I'll get back to you as soon as I can. See ya.